The Story of Noisome Mist, Parts 5 and 6. Part 5. A Meeting. Tyler watched mist disappear off to the north as the sky lightened to morning. Looking about him, he saw all the remains of his broken wings and snapped-off foliage. "Boy, I was lucky," he says. Hearing a rustle behind him, he turns to see a midnight blue alicorn step into the clearing. "Princess Nightmare Moon," he says in surprise. The alicorn lowers her head and sighs loudly. "It's Princess Luna." "Princess Luna, Tyler. Why do you insist on calling me that?" "Well, you two are technically the same. I mean, there is only one of you, right?" Tyler says with a smirk. "Enough, Tyler. I don't like those memories," Luna says. "I'm sorry, Princess Luna. You know how I am. I can put my hoof in my mouth sometimes," Tyler says, genuinely feeling bad about his remark. Luna rolls her eyes and says, "Yes, and besides, if you want to play it that way, I'll make sure you don't have a peaceful night's sleep for a week." She looks at Tyler with a smile lightening the moment. Tyler takes the cue and says, "Since I have a horn and wings, I can fly. Doesn't that make me an alicorn? Doesn't that make me an alicorn? So I should be Prince Tyler?" They both laugh at this, an easy comradeship between them. Tyler gets serious and says, Look at all this wreckage, Princess Luna. This was one bad crash. Can you believe I didn't even get a scratch?" Luna looks at Tyler with a seriousness in her eyes. "But you did get a scratch, Tyler, and much worse." Using her alicorn magic, she lifts a pointed and broken branch from the ground. A dark stain of blood a long way along its length. "I watched Mist pull this from your chest, and you can see how far it was in, and that white mark on your chest is where she pulled it from." Tyler was stunned into silence. Looking at the shaft of wood, he realized he should be dead. Luna went on as she turned her attention to the large tree where his broken wings lay. Her magic flared as it pulled an embedded something out of the tree and floated to Tyler. "I believe this is yours," she said, dropping it to the ground. Tyler's eyes went wide and his ears drooped, looking at the object. My horn. No, I won't ever fly again." I won't ever fly again," he said, sorrow clouding his voice, as he reaches a hoof to his head and finds a horn where it should be. Princess Luna looks at Tyler with a wide smile and a sparkle in her eyes. Tyler says, "I don't understand. Horns don't grow back." Luna, still looking at Tyler with a sparkle in her eyes, says, "I don't understand either, but I am beginning to. If you cry tears of pure life energy, I think a pierced heart and a broken horn both can be restored." "You mean the pretty filly Noisome Mist saved my life and my magic?" "Yes, Tyler. It appears she did, but she does not know it. She does not understand her gift. I have been watching her since I saw her crossing the grass plain from the southern desert canyon lands. She is on a journey of self-discovery," Luna says. "Princess Luna," Tyler asks, do you know who she is and where she comes from?" A bit of amazed wonder in his voice. "No. And isn't that wonderful? Luna asks in return. I'm gonna find her and tell her what she did for me. She should know, she should know. She saved my life after all. Tyler exclaims with renewed excitement. Luna looks at him sternly and flares her wings wide. You will do no such thing, Tyler. I have already helped her. What she must learn about herself, she must learn in her own way. Trust me, Tyler. It's more fun this way, and better for her. There are strange forces at work here. It's best not to interfere too much. Okay, Princess Luna, Tyler says, sounding a bit put off. But she promised to meet me again in Ponyville. What do I do? Really, Tyler, is this your first filly friend? Be nice to her. Talk to her. Get to know her. Maybe make her a sandwich. Just promise me you won't mention me keeping tabs on her. And also, don't mention her to any pony else. You will see it be all right. Luna says, sounding patronizingly motherly. She waits for Tyler's response. Tyler cocks one ear out to the side, stalling. Tyler, Luna says, your promise? Tyler drops the other ear to the side and looks resigned. Okay, I promise, Princess, he says. Luna turns and walks off into the brightening day with dark clouds moving in over the everfree forest to the north. Tyler looks after her and says quietly, Yes, Luna. Yes, she is, and the first one who ever saved my life. Finally answering her first question. Part 6. A rainy day. Tyler went and retrieved his pull cart. He always brought it along with him when testing new wing designs. It had a supply of spare parts, tools for last-minute repairs and adjustments, and of course, lunch. Pulling it back to the crash site, he noticed the pain he had always had in his shoulder was gone. That pain was the result of him trying to fly without wings when he was just a young colt. He had jumped out of his second-floor bedroom window, imagining he could fly by willing it. A broken shoulder blade and a wasted summer taught him otherwise. That incident had left him with a permanent ache in that shoulder. Now it was gone. Actually, all his little aches and pains were gone, and he felt really good. He reached the crash site and began picking up the bits and pieces of his broken wings and stowed them away in his cart. Using his unicorn magic, he lifted the bigger parts while his thoughts now focused on the filly. Noisome Mist. What an odd name. Whatever you did to me, you saved my life and fixed all of my old injuries too. He talked to himself as he worked, putting things away. And if Princess Luna is watching you, you must be something special indeed. He came to the last two things in the clearing, his old horn and the branch that impaled him. He was torn with indecision on whether to take them or bury them. He did not like thinking about the branch, with its lethal dark stain so far along its length. He shuddered looking at it. His broken horn was likewise disturbing. Losing it should have changed his life forever. Horns don't regrow. Only thing is, his had. Staring at these two things with morbid fascination, he came to realize they were important. They marked a major event in his life, the day that Noisome Mist gave it back to him. In the end, he wrapped them in cloth and hid them in his cart beneath his wing parts. Tyler's work completed, he attached his cart's shoulder harness, turned northward and headed for home. It was now noon, and lightning and dark clouds hung over the everfree forest. He thought about Noisome Mist, the image of her light blue eyes surrounded by a charcoal gray mask, floating in his memory. Her eyes had looked so inviting and kind, but also there had been a sadness there as well. Like she was hiding a secret, one that could hurt her. Her last words confused him somewhat. What could she mean by saying, "I can't go with you during the day. It's not safe"? Well, at least she promised to meet him again. They could talk more then. He walked happily on, glad that the rain over the Everfree Forest should be gone by the time he walked through. Mist left Tyler before the daylight faded away her solid form, running happily northward to where Tyler had said the path to Ponyville could be found. She was prancing with joyous energy, her heart all aflutter, her thoughts happy in her head. "I met a magical flying pony named Tyler. He can fly with his wings he made. He made himself heal with his magic. His voice is so wonderful, and he's a handsome pony." Then, as her hooves found the path to Ponyville, the sun faded her solid form away, and more somber thoughts broke her reverie. I would have loved to travel to Ponyville with him, but how could I, like this? As if to prove her point, she passes through a tree at the edge of the path, feeling a familiar pleasant tingle. What would he think of me now? What might accidentally happen to him if he tries to touch me like this? She sighs with resignation, her thoughts continuing. He would be afraid of me, I just know it. Then a memory hit her, and she exclaimed out loud in frustration, "Oh, I was so distracted with meeting him, I forgot to ask him if he was the one that left the arrow for me to follow. Silly filly, distracted by a magical flying pony." At this, she chuckled to herself. At least I can ask him when I see him again. It was noon when Mist reached the Everfree Forest. She looked up at the dark, heavy clouds with a suspicious eye. "It doesn't rain during the day. Well, at least it didn't where I came from. Looks like I'm going to find out what happens when it rains on me while I'm not solid," she says with little concern and thinking of her first swim in the forest pool. I don't think it will really matter. It's just water." Walking through the forest, Mist notices how dark and gloomy this place seems as compared to the other new places she has been. Then the rain started. Slowly at first, just a few drops. The first one passed through her shoulder and her chest, leaving a ticklish little trail. She giggled, saying, "That felt nice." Then a few more passed through her, one at her hip, and one through her nose. She wrinkled her nose and giggled some more, each drop leaving its ticklish trail as it passed through her. "Hey, I kind of like this. It's like a feather tickling all the way through me." And it was. Each raindrop left a new tickle where it passed through her. Thinking the rain was not a bad thing, she traveled on, enjoying the new sensation, as a few new tickles invaded here and there. With a loud peal of thunder and a flash of lightning, the few friendly raindrops were joined by thousands more of their brethren, all of them passing through Noisome Mist, leaving their ticklish trails. Her giggles broke into full-out laughter. This was becoming a torture of tickles. "Okay, enough of this," she said between uncontrollable laughing fits. She looks around for shelter. There was none. Frantically she runs from tree to tree, seeking respite from the assault of 1,000 tickles. There was no shelter to be found. She could not pass into the ground because that would require a lot of energy and effort to stay there, and she did not have the ability to concentrate at the moment. And if she did, it would be impossible to remain there for more than a few minutes anyway. Finally, in a giggling, laughing, hysterical fit, she collapses to the ground. Laying on the ground, laughing, giggling, and rolling and kicking, Mist is in a panic. The rain pours down incessantly. As far as torture goes, Mist thinks this is a pretty unique one. She is beginning to lose consciousness, laughing, and writhing uncontrollably in the rain when all of a sudden it stops. Laying there on the ground, panting heavily, her heart pounding hard, she begins to recover. No longer giggling and laughing uncontrollably, she notices the rain hasn't stopped. It just wasn't falling on her any more. Glancing up, she sees a large midnight blue wing outstretched above her, sheltering her from the rain. Her first thought is, "Tyler!" But no, this wing was real, the feathers intricately beautiful with their midnight blue iridescence, stirring a sense of awe within her. She glances to her right, ears laid low in caution, to see a large equine form standing a bit away from her. Midnight blue, just like the wing it held above her. A silver moon symbol in a splash of inky black emblazoned on her flank. Mist, filled with trepidation, tries to peer out from under the wing, to see the face of her protector. As if reading Mist's thoughts, the large mare lowers her neck and turns her head to glance at Noisome Mist. Mist is met with a gaze of gentle compassion. A beautiful mare with a black spiraled horn raises a forehoof to her lips in a quieting gesture and says one word: "Rest." Mist's trepidation melts away and is replaced by fear. Fear not of this unknown mare, but fear for her. It was daylight and Noisome Mist was immaterial. She had to warn this kind protective mare that she was in danger. "Please," Mist says, "I don't want to hurt you. I don't want you to be harmed. It's not safe not safe to be around by day. Make sure you don't touch me." The dark mare nods her head in acknowledgement, takes a deep breath and sighs for some strange reason. "Thank you for keeping the rain off of me," Mist says appreciatively. "I don't know if I could have taken much more of the tickling. It was awful. I couldn't get away from it. Really. I mean it. Thank you again. I'm Noisome Mist. Do you have a name?" The midnight blue alicorn hesitates. An iridescent dark blue glow begins to form around her horn. Staring into Mist's hauntingly grateful eyes, she says, "Luna, now rest." Mist falls peacefully asleep, while the rain falls around her and on Princess Luna.